budget for this next named experiment project.
So I believe that 100% that they still are continuing. I mean, even with what we talk about in today's Patreon episode, Mockingbird.
Yeah, because that led to MK Ultra being fully discovered too.
Yep.
And if you don't have Patreon, I highly suggest that you get it and you listen to it, and it will all make sense.
Yes, 100%. All right, so what's our next strange fact and finding?
Our next strange fact and finding is about notable people who were unknowingly involved with Project MK Ultra.
Ooh, this is my favorite. This is my favorite.
We're name dropping right here.
Yeah.
We're name dropping right here. Hope y'all ready for this one. Theodore Kaczynski, aka the Unabomber, was a researcher for Harvard University between 1959 and 1962. During that time, the school was carrying out experiments for the CIA under MK Ultra, and Theodore Kaczynski participated in some of them.
Do you know what his code name was?
No, I don't.
Lawful. Because when he was interrogated, lawful.
Oh.
Because all his answers were lawful.
Okay.
Okay.
Dude, like, if you, like, research all the shit they did to him, dude, this shit's fucked up. He, like, went home and slapped the shit out of his mom.
Wow.
Yeah. Side note, they were like, yeah, your mom says that you're just a fucking failure at life. Here, I got a note from her right now that Theodore Kaczynski is just not my son anymore. He can't uphold to the Harvard standards, and brainwashed him that way. And he went home and lost his shit on his mom.
That's messed up.
That is.
Yep.
Damn. So there's a lot of individuals that were involved in these MK Ultra experiments. And when I say individuals, I mean like normal people, but also notable people. Another one was author Ken Casey. He's the one who wrote the book One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So Ken volunteered for a research study program that was being conducted by his local VA hospital. He thought it was a normal research program, but it ended up being the LSD testing program that was part of the MK Ultra.
Have you listened to his interview about it?
No,
If you've never read One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, great book.
Yeah, it is.
But at the end of one of his interviews after reading it, he said, man, you know, I was going to be an Olympic wrestler. And then I saw this thing for the hospital and they said they needed an experiment. He said, boy, did they give me all the LSD I could ever want. I remember stealing it from there and passing it out.
Damn.
So who's another notable person?
Another notable person is Robert Hunter, who is a member of the band Grateful Dead. He went on what he thought was a harmless research study at Stanford, but that ended up being another LSD testing program that was part of MK Ultra. That's why they had such good music.
Yeah, that is. So what's another person?
Another notable person is Whitey Bulger. Now, if you don't know who Whitey was, he was a former organized crime boss. In 1957, he was at the Atlanta Penitentiary serving prison time. The CIA drugged inmates there with LSD without their knowledge to study its effects.
Now, Whitey wrote about his experience and what happened. He said, 8 convicts in a panic and paranoid state. Total loss of appetite. Hallucinating. The room would change shape. Hours of paranoia and feeling violent. We experienced horrible periods of living nightmares and even blood coming out of the walls. Guys turning to skeletons in front of me. I saw a camera change into the head of a dog. I felt like I was going insane. Yeah, I would too if I was seeing that as well and not know if I was in prison and that shit was happening. Oh, hell yeah.
The next notable person is Charles Manson. If you listen to our Patreon episode that we did over Charles Manson, you will remember that he was often in and out of prison during the time that MK Ultra was taking place. He was also purchasing LSD from CIA agents, and the LSD was a specific type called Orange Sunshine. Charles Manson gave this specific LSD to members who did the killings for him.
Yeah, that Orange Sunshine LSD, we talk about it in the Charles Manson episode that we did on Patreon, and how it was made by CIA agents and how they gave it out for mind control. Like this specific type of LSD was effective in mind control or brainwashing or whatever. All right, so what's this last person?
This next noticeable person isn't confirmed to be part of the program, But you guys know Saran Saran, right?
Mm-hmm.
The dude who shot and killed Robert Kennedy in 1968. Well, the attorney for Saran Saran stated that he was under the influence of hypnosis from the MK Ultra program whenever he shot and killed Robert Kennedy.
If he stated that before the program was brought to light, kind of makes you wonder.
So it's like they knew about it, but they just didn't bring it up.
Yeah. Because they knew the type of flack they would get, blowback, because all of the MK Ultra stuff would come to light, which, I mean, it did anyways a few years later, so.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. So I guess let's go to the next strange fact and finding, which is called Project MK Often. Now, this was a sub-project under Project MK Ultra. This Operation MK Often was initiated by the chief of the CIA to, and I quote, explore the world of black magic and to harness the forces of darkness and challenge the concept that the inner reaches of the mind are beyond reach. Wow. So as a part of this Operation MK Often, CIA employees visited with and recruited fortune tellers, palm readers, clairvoyants, mediums, psychics, specialists in demonology, witches and warlocks, Satanists, and other occult practitioners. All right, so let's go on to the next strange fact and finding.
All right. This next strange fact and finding that we are going to discuss is called Operation Midnight Climax. Now, this was one of the infamous experiments by Dr. George Hunter White. He recruited sex workers from San Francisco and asked them to administer LSD to their clients without their knowledge.
LSD was put into the victims' drinks, and CIA operatives monitored the behavior of them through two-way mirrors. They were not able to gather any good information from this because the CIA operatives weren't even trained scientists, like we mentioned earlier. Now, even though this program lasted for more than a decade, nothing derived from it other than satisfying the people who devised the idea to begin with. So we kind of mentioned this earlier, but just like all the other experiments, nothing really came of this, or at least we think. And yeah, that's Operation Midnight Climax. Now, Dan, what's this next strange fact and finding that you got?
This one, I guess you could say I wouldn't say a notable person too much, but he was one that said he was recruited into MK Ultra. His name is White Wolf von Atzingen.
It's a weird last name.
It is. I think he has like a Nordic, Danish type background. But he said that he was part of the MK Ultra assassin program called Shadow Operation Extermination Squad, aka SOES. He was kidnapped when he was about 16 years old in broad daylight by a team of what he called thugs that worked for SOES. They forced him through mind control and torture to comply with the elite assassin training program they put him through. He stated these programs seek to recruit people who have the right balance of intelligence, genetics, and spiritual frequency, which yield superhuman capabilities.
Okay, you lost me there, White Wolf.
Then they would use those people for their own purposes like shadow working. I guess assassin type, taking people out.
Okay, not the shadow work that Anna does.
No, so this is like the evil stuff, I guess.
The evil shadow work, okay.
Yeah. So according to him, they targeted him because of his ability to shapeshift into a wolf. But not only that, though, he had exceptional survival skills in tracking, hunting, camouflage, combat, escape, and evasion. He was also trained in martial arts. Some of these skills were finely tuned when he was forced to train with some elite Navy SEALs for over a 10-year period. Now, he does an interview, which is a pretty interesting interview and very informative. It's pretty long, so I'm not going to go through any of it, but we do have a link of it. So we'll share that, with y'all so y'all can, if you want to, go and read about this, about White Wolf here. But, he does state that as of now, he can't shapeshift like he used to.
Oh, how convenient.
Yeah, he said when he was around 13 or so, it was very easy to, shapeshift, but it was very painful to do so. But it was easy to start it. But he did say that they put an implant in him, and he provided an x-ray of it as well. So then I have a picture of that we could share.